right, welcome back, SpeedGaming. We've got Game 2 between Kipp and Zeb316 coming up. It's going to be Chozo plus Area Rando. If you are just joining us, Kipp took the first game in an incredibly wild roller coaster match. The big thing ended up being ice. When Kipp found ice at the top of Rex's ship, Zeb did not, and everything just sort of snowballed from there. However, it's a new game. Everything is reset, and we are just about ready to go.
Yeah, it was really that early decision from Kipp to play a little conservative. There was only one item that showed up in Rex's ship. Kipp deciding to completely full clear, rewarded with ice, and then a whole number of things spiraled sort of from that point in less a decision way and just more of a way that the sea just sort of worked against Zeb, unfortunately, after that decision. There's a couple chances to make up time. It didn't quite work out in Zeb's favor. But like you said, Glove, brand new match, Game 2. Chozo logic, we have an opportunity for Kipp to remain undefeated against Zeb in rando competition, or for Zeb to get that first win and force a rubber match, a pivotal Game 3 for this SMR championship here at SGLIVE 2022. Live and in person, Herndon, Virginia. Awesome to be sitting alongside my co-commentator, Glove. Don't have to be doing this online. Actually see and hang out with all these people. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right, and we're ready to go. Just clearing out the tracker here, and then we're going to get our flag drop for these runners.
Kipp's going to be starting with charge. Oh, okay.
All right, folks, here we go. And we are off. All right, so we were talking about this a little bit off stream, just in between the races. Glove, you've got a lot of experience with this. Maybe you can fill the viewing audience in a little bit about how this Chozo logic plays in and how that tracker is going to affect what we're going to be seeing here.
Sure. So for Chozo, we have all the items that are on Chozo statues, plus the two boss locations of Right Supers for Fantoon and Ridley E-Tank. And the items within those Chozo statues are going to be swapped around. So generally, E-Tanks are part of the minor item pool in this, with the exception of 3 of them, as well as 2 supers, 2 missiles, and 1 power bomb pack. And generally speaking, with very little exception, the logic only cares about items that are on Chozo statues. So even if you find a ton of E-Tanks, it doesn't necessarily mean hell runs are in logic. It's a very interesting mode. You know, there are fewer Chozo locations, so you're going to be expecting to find charge more often. And so that can sort of change the math on the ammo hunts a bit. A lot of the times you're going to be ending up with lower ammo and E-Tank loadouts. So that can provide for some really interesting plays. Yeah, little bit of a misplay from Zeb there. Gets the Rio D-boost the second time.
Yeah, sort of a replay of race 1. Very similar situation for Zeb. Just a small hiccup, no big deal though.
No power bombs, so we're not going to be checking this location at the bottom of criteria, especially if this location leads to a dead end, like say Kraid. It's probably going to be orphaned for a pretty long time. So at this point, we know that Bomb Chorizo is going to have some item that is going to get us through Terminator. We're either going to find power bombs, screw attack, speed, or vanilla bombs. Screw and speed are actually a little bit awkward here because 230 missile is a Chozo location that we'll have to leave behind in that case. We do find vanilla bombs. BT fight. Vanilla bombs tend to show up pretty early in Chozo seeds, just because of that requirement that it has to be either bombs or power bombs early on to give you like logical access through bomb blocks. You're not going to find power bombs just anywhere.
Of course, having super missiles here, no deal waiting for awful BT drops. We're just going to drop a missile into super and just end this fight really quickly, no problem at all.
Yep, so now both our runners are going to go check 230 missile. You know, as Kipp pointed out, I think it was Summer Games Done Quick 2020. This room kind of looks like a head, which would make the bomb blocks its teeth. And since we're bombing them out, it's 230. Gotta be honest, I don't see it.
I don't see it either, but I get why people do.
I commend Kipp's unique mind.
Yeah, and a bit of word pun there, 230. Of course, the game developers intended you to get there and get your first missile pack, but we usually see it in Hundo as the last one. It's the 230th missile that you pick up. 230?
Yeah.
230?
Well, it would be like your third missile pack in the game. Probably third or second.
Well, yeah, they intended it very early, that's
yes.
right. And we're picking it up in Hundo all the way at the very end. It's routed.
All right, our first area transition. And we've got red tower access. Very nice early on. So, something that I am a little bit of a fan of. In Chozo, early X-ray tends to be a very powerful play. Because there are fewer major locations compared to major minor, each one becomes more valuable, X-ray being one of those. X-ray D-boost is pretty solid, and both of these runners definitely like to do the X-ray D-boost. Certainly you would expect a little bit more than this, maybe a couple E-tanks. However, having found Green Bryn means we could be away from Red Tower for a minute. And Upper Norfair too. Yeah, I agree with Kipp here. So I think you should be checking this portal and high jump boots when you come here. And yeah, look at that Kraid. So Kraid, one of those few parts of the game that isn't going to require power bombs at all. Obviously, the game has not expected you. The vanilla game, as the developers intended, did not expect you to have power bombs. So we can just blaze through here. This is basically a KPDR plus spring ball loadout. You know, missing an E-tank, a couple extra supers, but it doesn't really matter for Kraid. And we even have bombs for the normalized setup. Zeb prefers a different pixel here. A couple different places you can do it, and it only changes a little bit. Nice.
Yeah, nicely done from Kipp. See the setup from Zeb here. 4 super fight for Zeb. A little bit different. Kipp going 2 missiles, 3 supers. Both handle it very nicely. Yeah, lots of different setups. There's the setup that Zeb used. There's the bomb normalize. There's Hodarubi's lag reduction. Damaging down in the spikes. It actually puts you in a normalized position to get that missile into Kraid's mouth. So lots of different ways to do it, but our runner's handling it with no problem.
Yeah, so we find an E-tank at Varia. And since we have seen Upper Norfair, we're going to be paying pretty close attention to that, because as soon as we find all 3 E-tanks, hell runs are a thing. obviously our runners can break logic and do hell runs earlier. I know Zeb especially in area prefers to try and go other routes before hell runs. Kipp gets an E-Tank here. It's interesting that they're both checking this since it isn't a major item location. However, we don't have power bombs yet, so generally even checks that are basically just one door transition are going to be nice here.
And with the extra tank, does that do you think that puts X-ray and an early X-ray check in play with the extra energy here, or is that too far out of the way at this point?
I think it's definitely in play. Like, we have bombs, so we have a backup, even if our runners mess up. So 2 tanks is nice. Also, if you execute it correctly, 2 tanks is enough where you can employ a faster strat leaving. And 2 tanks is also kind of the magic number for ice. Which we'll see Zeb doing
Zeb doing now. A little bit of a divergence. Zeb checking ice first.
Yeah, so the nice thing with this is if you find an E-Tank at high jump boots, you get a free refill. Like that.
There
so
it is.
Yeah, it's going to work out pretty nicely for Zeb.
Okay.
Oh.
Starting off hot and fast again here in this second race. Early gravity.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, so this ice hell run, Zeb's fine here, but it's a little bit scarier when you don't have power bombs. In Rando, a really nice strat to do is on your way jumping up in the pre-ice room, you can use power bombs to kill all of those fire gamers, and then not only do you not get damaged by them, but you get to collect all 3 of their drops.
Yeah, those Sovas will often be dropping you some big health there to help you get through this hell run.
Sorry, what's a Sova?
All right, and coming up will be this free health refill that we just talked about for Zeb.
Yeah, it probably won't really make a big deal for Kipp, because we're not going to be continuing on into hell runs. But it's not insignificant, and every time you can try to push a little bit of advantage, that's what Zeb needs. And you know what? Kipp gives a fair shake for the iceless ice escape. It looked like he was pretty close. He just waited a little bit too long there.
Yeah, the platform just got out of the way.
Yeah, it's really rough because the left platform really likes to carry you away.
All right, and both runners on the elevator coming out at the same time. Little divergence in the beginning. They swapped items, but they are neck and neck right now with the same loadout.
Yeah, I'll tell you where this energy refill could come into play. Not to be the always be checking X-ray person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm literally the always be checking X-ray person.
Yeah, it gives Zeb that advantage to have that, not have to worry about, let's say, a Sloter's refill or something, just go straight for X-ray if that's the play here. And we'll see the last race was really tight. You know, this one can be decided by anything at this point. Every little bit of time that you can save on someone like Kipp is a benefit to you for sure.
Yeah, so Green Brinstar, solid in Major Minor, solid in Full, solid in Chozo. You always want to find items here. A little bit different from Major Minor. Ooh, and an early Ice Beam.
So Zeb not going to be repeating the issues that he had in Game 1. Ice not going to be a problem. We're not going to be power bomb hunting late to get through Turian, fortunately.
Hopefully.
Well,
still don't have one.
I may have spoken too soon, but we'll see. Green, you were just saying Greenburn is rich. Hopefully Greenburn provides here.
It's basically impossible, but it's not literally impossible to have power bomb go mode. Like, we could find, what, charge here, Varia at early supers, and then that's power bomb go mode. But instead, we find high jump boots.
Wow.
Nobody's going to turn their nose up at those.
Certainly not. Didn't see it at all in the last seed, so we're going to see some very different movement here from our runners getting high jump very early.
I feel so slow bombing out these blocks. It's not even that much slower than having the power bomb.
But of course, not having Power Bomb does leave a couple things locked here. You can't go in and check that that wave item.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are no Power Bombs, we might not actually ever see that item.
That's true. Well, we're not going to see that wave gate item anyway. It's not a Chozo statue. Yeah. So our runners are about to get the last Chozo statue in Green Bryn Star at early supers. And early supers has 4 total chances, well, technically 5 chances for us to find a power bomb. We can find the logical power bomb, which is quite likely to be here. Or we could find an incidental power bomb. Charge!
Wow.
We are Varia Go mode.
Holy smokes. Another Jet Seed. This is unbelievable.
Well, there's certain things we can't say. And Go -1 mode is not Go mode. we could go 25 minutes without finding Varia. But definitely a significant possibility of a Jet Seed. Still no power bombs. Yeah, and both players, I don't know that there's anybody, especially before Hell runs are off the table, who's going to stop at 3 E-tanks. You find a 4th E-tank, you pick it up. And I mean, honestly, I think you generally pick up E-tanks until at least you have Varia. All right, this is pretty interesting. So we have Croc's Portal. So part of what this means is we're going to be seeing the very rare bottom to top bubble mountain using bombs. Like, it's pretty easy to forget that this is even here.
Just missiles again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's safe for Kipp. Is Kipp going to check Lava Dive now?
Distinct possibility, yeah.
Okay, so we get our first real divergence, I think, in the routing for these two runners.
Yeah, so Kipp is either just refilling. Yeah, so he's going right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's our first real divergence.
I don't know that I really care for this. All right, so we've got some West Meridia here, which is definitely nice for Kipp, because it was going to be a little bit spooky going up through sort of the hallway to wave. Still no power bombs.
Back to our LN. Grapple beam, but no power bombs.
Calling power bombs at a wreck ship main shaft, or not wreck ship main shaft. The speed location there, Main Street. Not gonna see it though. I don't know why you would peek it here. Kipp isn't even checking crab supers. That's kind of interesting to me.
Being on no power bombs, yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, we still have a shocking amount of locations where first logical power bombs could be. It could be in these hell runs. It could be anywhere we're going through this West Meridia. Now, West Meridia is effectively just a hub in Chozo. Like, it is even worse for items than Major, Minor, or Full. All right, and Rexship Reserve, or excuse me, Norfair Reserve, not really a thing here.
Holy
That's
smokes.
huge.
Well, I was a little preemptive calling it a jet seed before, but
I'll concede it's a jet seed.
well, I just got so excited after the first race. I think I was just in that mind frame, but
And
sure enough.
And you know what this means? We have a Power Bombs go mode.
You called it.
Yeah.
That's like the third time in this race.
Yeah, Kipp's going to pass right by an X-ray he can't check. And there's logical Power Bombs in Norfair.
Wow.
Kipp's going to have a significantly faster upper Norfair because of those because of that Varia. So he's going to find those Power Bombs, and after that point, you know, we're still checking Chozos right now, right? Because I don't think many people want to be doing a Charge Ice Mother Brain. At this point, we even have to be doing a Charge Ice Ridley for a lot of it. All right, looks like, yeah, Kipp's farming these Kagos, or at least the first one. Curious to see how far he'll push this ship. Right, because, like, the seed needs you to find your first logical power bombs at a Chozo location. Kipp does not operate by the same rules, so if we find power bombs in left supers, that's exactly the same as power bombs at Wave.
Right. Yeah, and it'll be the second time in 2 games that Kipp has made a decision that's going to pay off big time for him.
Mm-hmm.
First with the wreck ship full clear to get ice in game 1, and now with this route divergence here, which, you know, maybe we questioned a little bit to start, but it netted him an early Varia here.
Absolutely.
And if he comes out with power bombs, this is going to be really, really
Nice.
rough for Zeb.
Skip Spooky. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, a little bit more conservative for Kipp in game 1, picking up a lot more items here, skipping a lot of these checks, especially without power bombs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm expecting him to go like every minor on path, but is what it is. All right, Fantoon for Kipp. Easy loadout for a 2-round here. Gets a little bit weird with high jump. You have to do a slightly different timing for your manip, but not really. I feel like it's more of a mental block than anything. All right, Kipp would have to have a really good second round to cut it at 2. Yeah.
Yeah, playing it safe, not even going for the super there. Don't want to enrage Fantoon.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Kipp, you have to feel great about your decision so far. Yeah, meanwhile, Zeb delving through East Meridia. Grapple does give you a pretty quick way to kill Dragon. Nice spring ball over the spiny. Yeah, so Zeb's going to check this portal first. Makes sense. All right, front of East Meridia, Red Tower. And Zeb's bailing on East Meridia for now. Gonna at least check these 2 and then maybe go back. I kind of wonder if do you go and check Spazer and X-Ray here? Just gotta check at least Spazer.
Well, that'll be Varia, right? Is that where Varia was?
Yes.
I mean, this is sort of best case scenario for Zeb. Is not putting these checks off to a point where Varia came that much later in the seed.
Yeah, actually, God, this is really interesting. Like, Zeb's not out of this, for sure.
Yeah, actually, I think it was really fortunate that that Eastern Meridia came out right back into Red Tower, because it led Zeb straight to the Varia. If it sent him something completely different, you know, back to Criteria, or if it deaded an Inturian or something like that, it may have been a long, long time until we saw Zeb pick up Varia.
A little bit curious. I guess maybe he was thinking about X-Ray for a second, but like, you don't do X-Ray with this loadout. When you're in go mode, X-Ray is not where you're going. Maybe he was thinking about whether he wanted to farm more power bombs, but he has bombs, so he'll be fine.
All right, so coming back up the tube, this will put Zeb back into Eastern Meridia. We'll go up for Batu and a Dragon now.
And Kipp still doesn't have power bombs, so honestly, so much of Zeb's, like, so much of what determines this race is going to come down to when does Kipp find PBs.
Very straightforward 10 Super Batoon fight here. Almost gets it in one round. Very close, but a friendly pattern from Batoon there. Just sticking the head out for that 10th Super. Nice, nice fight there from Zeb. Well handled. Still no power bombs for Kipp. You know, really in game one, it felt like after that full wrecked ship clear and getting ice, everything sort of bit by bit seemed to work against Zeb. Now it's, you know, it looked like Kipp made a great play, got the early Varia, but it was Zeb that was rewarded by the seed. The routing in Meridia led him right back to Varia. He got his power bomb. Kipp's still searching for it.
Yeah, I mean, Zeb really didn't lose all that much time from getting Varia late. He had a couple hell runs he did, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I do think the big question at this point, will we find any other beams? You can see Zeb. Obviously, both runners are going to continue picking up supers until they have at least something ammo-wise. Or beam-wise, rather. Because Charge Ice is the second worst beam in the game. Beam combo in the game. Second only to Charge.
Yeah, and I think if you're Zeb, you probably do want to see a lot more ammo or better beams. I'd just say if it stays at a very low loadout, Kipp with his low ice experience is going to have an easier time in Turian if it comes down to that. It certainly might not, but...
Yeah, another one of the E-tanks there. We've got all three. Doesn't matter, we have Varia at this point. But absolutely, you know, just absolutely nothing in Ship. Ship tends to be really bad in Chozo. Nice quick grapple for Zeb.
Wow, another super pack. Still no power bombs for Kipp. Stingy seed on power bombs.
Yeah, I mean, even Zeb has only found one still. And we've seen so many different checks from both of our runners. It's interesting. We have one power bomb pack between them. Screw attack, definitely a nice item to have. You know, you would rather have wave plasma or spazer here. Screw attack's gonna make LN a lot nicer.
Or speed, that would have been nice too. I missed it there. That was Kipp going through front side of wrecked ship and ocean. Was that Croc? Where did that
Yeah.
lead? Okay.
Yeah, kind of an interesting skip there, Croc. Like,
With no PBs,
yeah.
do you go hunting for them in Croc? Obviously, Kipp didn't think that that was worth it. But now we'll make the long trip back.
Yeah, I mean, like, he hasn't broken logic at all, so logical PVs could be there, Croc. You know, Kipp was complaining yesterday about how we need to stop having these terrible seeds for game 1. And he got his wish. This is genuinely a seed that is, it's going to be terrible or incredible for you. Shoutouts to Forgotten Highway. It's earned its nom de plume.
You're dropping the thesaurus on us today, Glove. We got eponymous, nom de plume.
Yeah.
Dropping all the hits. Let's go.
All the words for the name of something.
Couple more languages you got to crank out. Interesting. Both runners finding the backside of wrecked ship, both hesitating. Kipp actually left and came back in with the extra door transitions, deciding to actually do wrecked ship. Zeb also pausing, deciding that this is worth it. He'll do Fantoon. He'll also find the dead end Croc.
Nice use of spring ball here. I always like spring ball strats like that.
Okay, this is a new portal check. We hadn't seen that that redfish exit, leading us to Moat. So we're back in Criteria for the first time in quite a while. We have a couple checks here. We've got this crab check, which we haven't seen. We have, as you said, retro PBs.
And you know, he can't go back the way he came.
And there's Turian. A useful bit of information for sure. And not an incredibly out-of-the-way location to get back to, right? You're not buried deep at the end of wrecked ship or something like that where you're going to have to traverse it again.
Yeah, you generally like to see Turian in Criteria. I wonder, yeah, does Kipp do Gauntlet here? Looks like it. I mean, you got 3 shots here, right? So you gotta. Bomb Gauntlet sucks, though. And high jump.
We were just talking about this,
yeah, high jump Bomb Gauntlet doubly so.
Yeah, if you're Kipp, this is where the pickup of Screw would have been immensely helpful, right? Zeb having found it.
Yeah, now Kipp turns off high jump for... It's funny, I literally mentioned to him, I was like, yeah, high jump Bomb Gauntlet sucks, and he was like, now see, that's my thing, is I'm never going to be doing that.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. We were sitting down with Kipp when he was warming up before the race, and he said, it just ain't going to happen. I'm going to turn that high jump off. People have given me grief for it before, but it's worked out in my favor, and so there you go.
I guess five E-tanks plus gravity is enough to convince him to keep it on.
Yeah, I guess it's a little different when you're sitting on low tanks early on in the game.
Yeah. All right, Fantoon is down for Zeb. We just need lower Norfair than Turian.
Kind of tough to call where our runners are in relation to each other. And finally, we get power bump packs for Kipp.
It's just too little too late at this point, I think. Like, Kipp did so many extra checks that Zeb's not going to be doing.
Yeah, I was going to say it feels like advantage Zeb, but the reason why I'm not quite sure yet is because we haven't actually gotten to LN yet, have we? Or no, we have. Was Main Street Three Musketeers?
We found Ellen somewhere.
Yeah, so we do actually. Yeah, it was Main Street in
Yeah.
Western Meridia.
Has Zeb seen that?
I don't remember.
I think. So I want to say that was Kipp who saw it. Yeah, so Zeb's going to see Croc here and then immediately have to take the long, obnoxious track back through Wreck Ship.
Yeah, and Kipp's going to enter Lower Norfair first here. This should be Lower Norfair. Backside? There it is. Now, Kipp has seen Turian. Zeb has not yet, but following the routing out of Wrecked Ship, there's a reasonably good chance that Zeb will find Turian upon re-entering Criteria. It's pretty straightforward check. It's not really something out of the way that Kipp managed to find. Really fascinating race here. You know, we had a lot of swings going Kipp's favor in race one. It does feel like, at least the way that the RNG and the seed has been rolled, it's a little bit more in favor of Zeb for those decisions. It didn't quite look like that early when Kipp was rewarded with Varia, but ever since then, it seems to have been going more in Zeb's favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
That long, long hunt for power bombs, unfortunately for Kipp, you know, that early Varia cost him those power bombs because of the way that Zeb routed.
I think this is still really close, though, actually. Like, I don't know. The extra knowledge that Kipp has is really valuable.
Yeah, we'll have to see what decisions Zeb is making here. And as you pointed out, if Zeb actually did check, I think Zeb did check Main Street. Was in Western Meridia at one point.
Yeah, so Kipp's going to farm to full supers. Or not full supers,
up to
but
30.
30 yes.
Right. All right, we're getting some extra checks here. These are two extra checks that that Kipp has not done yet. We have not seen where Red Elevator or Meridia Escape go yet. One goes to the front of Lower Norfair. One goes back to Criteria.
All right, and there's a Spazer. Honestly, at this point, with the runners being on such low beams, and not the most supers ever, like a fair number of supers, that Spazer is pretty big.
It does equalize a little bit. Kipp does have 45 supers. Zeb only on 30. All right, so let's see where Meridia Escape is going. And there's
LN.
Front side of LN.
That's so good for Zeb.
Yep. Yeah, which means that the top of Red Tower goes back to Criteria. The good news for Zeb is it doesn't matter front side or back side of LN. Either way that you leave has a nearby portal that will take you back to Criteria. We know that that's where Turian is sitting. If Zeb is able to keep track of all of this information, he'll be able to find the optimal routing back. I think this definitely does favor Zeb, this placement of frontside LN.
Yeah, now I don't expect Kipp to even go that way. Although, let's see, what's the best way back to East Meridia for him?
It'll be Three Musketeers to Main Street, and then top of Everest will put you back in Criteria, and then you can go to Turian. Oh, I'm sorry, East Meridia, goodness gracious, he hasn't done Dragon yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were asking about Zeb.
Yeah, I expect. Well, I don't think Zeb knows Turian yet, so if that is the case, then he'll definitely go at the back of LN.
Yeah, and this works out nicely for Kipp. Kipp is going to now find the front side of Lower Norfair. It's going to very conveniently for him take him back into Red Tower, and he's going to be able to go through the tube back into Eastern Meridian, take care of Dragon. So it sort of works out for both of their runners coming from opposite bosses. Not sure who it helps more. It's really, really tough at this point. But the divergent routes have been exciting. The decision tree's been different, and yet I think we have a really, really close race on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see if Kipp decides to check the top of Red Tower here. That's the one other check in Red Tower that neither runner has made yet. Should lead back to Criteria. That one orphan location that you talked about, those retro Bryn PB location.
All right, so Kipp's going to be grabbing that Spazer as well. Depending on how everything else goes, we could see the fact that Kipp has 15 more supers play a huge role in how everything goes.
All right, nicely handled there from Zeb on the Ridley fight. All right, let's see if we get this gate check here. Looks like we are going to.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, so Zeb's on the LN escape. Kipp's trying to get back to East Meridian as quick as possible. Zeb's trying to find Turian.
Yeah, it's not exactly straightforward. I mean, you could go all the way to G4 here to wrap back around, but that's pretty slow.
Yeah.
I think getting back into Red Tower here and then going to Tube is going to be the fastest way for Kipp. That should take him straight to Aqueduct. And Zeb just needs to find Turian now. If he's managed to keep track of everything, you know, he had a little hiccup the last time when he was going back through Meridia. But if he has track of everything now, he should know that there's very, very few locations left that can be Turian, and there's a very, very good chance for him that it's in Turian. Obviously, we know that that's where it is. But it's either the top of Red Tower or it's Criteria as far as Zeb is concerned. Those are the only places he has not checked yet.
And I think at this point, with the difference in ammo loadouts, if you're Zeb, you probably need to be entering Turian maybe 20 seconds ahead at least.
I get the sense that that is what we're going to see. I don't think it's going to take Zeb as long to find Turian, given the convenient locations as it is for Kipp to go all the way through Meridia here. Has to do Batoon still, has to do Dragon still. I think this is advantage Zeb here.
Oh, for sure.
And substantial enough that I think he can hold off the extra supers. Let's see, is this upper Norfair lava dive?
All right.
Right now.
Kipp, be careful.
Oh no.
So Batoon's not going to spit anymore, so Kipp's safe. But this is a pretty significant time loss, having to play it safer here.
Yep, and we're through. Kipp safely out of Batoon. A little bit shifty there. Zeb going correctly through the top of Everest. It's going to take him back to red tower here. Or excuse me, back to Criteria, which is going to line him up very nicely to find Turian.
If you have Spring Ball. He might have turned it off.
Yeah, and this is Turian here.
All right.
So this is a sizable lead here for Zeb.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be quite this much, but he routed it correctly and took full advantage. And this is more than enough of an advantage here for Zeb.
Absolutely. Like, aside from dying, nothing Zeb does loses in the race at this point.
Yeah, we could very, very well be seeing a game 3 here forced. Zeb just needs to execute here in Turian. Couldn't ask for more.
Absolutely.
We're here in person. We're at the end of what's already been an incredible event. We've got the 2 best runners in the tournament that are facing off 1v1. Zeb is closing in on his potential first win over Kipp in these randomizer settings and forcing a pivotal rubber match game 3. This is anything and everything that we could have asked for.
Oh, gets a good rickety boost. You know, saves himself 20 energy. Not as likely to be an issue with a 4-tank fight, but every little bit helps. And it looks like Zeb's going to be going for baby skip here. This is definitely more difficult without speed, but it is very manageable.
Handled the first couple jumps very nicely. Shooting out those dust enemies does create a bunch of extra lag, but handles it nicely and gets through.
Yeah, he's fine.
Ooh, and a sigh of relief from Zeb there. Visibly so. That would have been painful to get grabbed at that point after spending all of that time.
I mean, it's one of those areas where wave is so helpful, right? Like, because he didn't have wave, those like dust particles were super difficult to shoot out. Yeah, he's gonna turn off screw attack, make Zeb skip easier.
We got our statisticians helping us here in the commentary booth. Along with our trackers, we're very grateful to them for that. Looks like we're looking at, on top of the ballistics, roughly 100 shots, so half of a low ice fight here for Zeb. Let's see how he handles it.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me that Ice Spazer is not much better than Ice.
Now, we were saying in this situation, I brought it up earlier, that Kipp definitely has a bit of an advantage in this fight in terms of efficiency, but Zeb just got so far ahead in Turian that the efficiency and output on this fight is not the critical thing. It's literally just surviving.
Absolutely.
Nice dodge first on running under the onion rings. Another nice dodge with the low jump. It can be difficult to do that with high jump. Underneath that French fry, excellently handled by Zeb. First hiccup from Zeb, just a little bit of damage from that meatball. Saving those supers for the end to get through that catch-up phase quickly, it looks like. Deep breath, deep breath. Getting under one, getting over the other. Couple shots left, and that's it. Holy smokes, folks. We got everyone here holding on their breath. Holy smokes. excellently executed by Zeb316. We are just a few minutes away from forcing a decisive Game 3, and Zeb about to get the monkey off of his back and taking his first W against Kipp in head-to-head competition in Randomizer. Folks, you could not ask for more at this moment. Shadows of Game 1. Kipp was finishing up Mother Brain just as Zeb was entering. We have the reverse result here. Another incredibly fast seed.
Absolutely.
And it's just a flip of what we saw in Game 1. These runners are not only going to be going into Game 3 1-1, their time cumulatively is going to be almost identical.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. There's been some seeds that have taken almost 2 hours, and these runners are going to finish both Game 1 and 2 collectively in under 2. Absolutely unbelievable execution. Fast seeds for sure, but our runners have done excellently well to navigate these seeds.
Absolutely.
I've done some low ice fights, you've done some low ice fights. This was half of that, but I've got to think that at that moment, Zeb was feeling his heart pounding through his chest. Obviously, he didn't know he was in first, but when you're sitting on 48 minutes at Mother Brain, you know that you're on a good pace. And he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be able to put his hand up first this time, and it's going to be Kipp who's going to be having to readjust that mind frame and prepare for Game 3, and then it's winner takes all. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but let's bask in this moment for Zeb. A huge win coming up and really making this finals matchup in our SGL 2022 Randomizer tournament absolutely excellent. Now let's see, Kipp finished a low 52. This is going to be even faster than that.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, folks.
Yeah, we're getting a 51 here. I don't think we can get a 50 since we don't have speed.
No, the 50 will come in Game 3.
Oh, there we go, yeah. I'm waiting for the sub 50 Game 3. It has happened. We got a couple last year. Kipp having a couple of issues there with Zeb skip.
Yeah, and Zeb looking a little frustrated, messing up that entrance into Leodox, but does not know that those few seconds, precious as they are, will not matter. He is closing in on the ship. He will raise his hand in that done fashion. He's about to collect a huge win here to force Game 3. And almost exactly the same as Race 1. Kipp was finishing just as Mother Brain was appearing for Zeb, who decided to close out that fight. Be a little faster for Kipp with those extra super missiles, 10 or 12 extra. Wow, Glove, could we ask for anything more? Game 3
Absolutely
on the way.
not. Yeah, it's just incredible.
The seed went a little bit in Kipp's favor after the first decision that he made in Game 1. This time in Game 2, it went more in Zeb's favor. We are dead even. There it is. GG, Zeb. Excellent performance. Wow. Holy smokes.
What a race.
51 2x or maybe even 1x. Unbelievable.
We have a Game 3.
Yeah, and the runners just having a quick exchange here. Here's Zeb saying that that was a really interesting one. A couple words exchanged. And now they're going to get reset. And so are we for a Game 3, the deciding rubber matchup. So we're going to let these credits roll and take a little break. The runners are going to take a little break. We'll come back and give you the details on what this Game 3 randomizer mode will look like in just a little bit. So we will see you in just a few minutes. Stay tuned for Game 3.
Hello, hello.
All right, we are live here at SpeedGaming Live 2022, back at you for the action in Herndon, Virginia. Live and in living color. I am Professor School. This is Game 3 between Zeb316 and Kipp. We have a little bit of a change in commentary here. Glove going off to volunteer, and we have joined in the booth Papa Schmo, going to be bringing us that critical knowledge for this excellent Game 3 randomizer. We are ready to go here. We are hyped and going to go for this major minor, full area rando, full boss shuffle.
Yes.
It's the kitchen sink.
Yes.
Papa Schmo, tell us a little bit about it as these runners get ready to take off.
Absolutely. Dude, I'm pumped. Game 3, finals. Let's freaking go. Logic-wise, the biggest thing here, the thing that's gonna have our runners, you know, contemplating what decisions they make as they traverse the planet of Zebes, is the fact that when they go into any of the 4 boss rooms, they could be met with any of the 4 bosses, and that means you know, you have to think about saving before you enter into a boss room. You have to think about potential picking up extra ammo if you're trying to prepare for maybe finding Ridley first. It's all on the table right now.
Yeah, so it's game 1 with a whole added level of complexity tossed on top of it. I do think that Zeb, having pulled off his first victory over Kipp, both in this set and in their randomizer history, has really put himself in an excellent place here in Game 3. Kipp obviously still, you know, a very dominant runner with incredible history in both vanilla and in randomizer, multiple championships, multiple tournament wins, incredible movement, but this is the place where Zeb can really shine. He has done hundreds of seeds. This is his favorite mode of randomizer. This is his bread and butter, and we are going to get the best of Zeb versus one of the greatest all time in Kipp. You could not ask for anything more in a deciding Game 3 for this championship race.
Absolutely. I'm not taking anything off of the table, and I'm pretty much ready for us to see anything. And I don't know, I'm just super excited. I'm tingly a little bit after the first 2 games that we've seen just go back and forth, and our runners putting up phenomenal displays, getting close to sub 50 area rando
back
runs.
to back. Unbelievable. So I don't know, we're either going to see a 49 here, or more likely with the boss shuffle will be slower than that, but who knows what we have in store for us here. It's really been quite a show that these 2 runners have put on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious. A lot of our seeds that have been run over this tournament have, you know, here and there decided to starve our runners for either supers or power bombs. We saw in Game 2 that there was pretty much 1 power bomb pack, and that actually had a lot to do with the deciding factor and who took that victory. So we'll see what the resources look here on top of just the mentality of the boss shuffle.
Yeah, it actually, as you correctly pointed out, Pops, huge difference maker was in Game 2. Kipp found that early Varia. We were thinking in the comms booth, well, holy smokes, this is going to give him a great advantage. But it turned out that routed him away from the logical power bombs, and he didn't find him for another 10 or 15 minutes, and that really hindered his gameplay. It changed his routing. Zeb took advantage and won by about 3 minutes, which was the margin in the other direction for Kipp in Game 1. So we're all squared away here. These runners have done their first check. It was the Retro PB check here, taking us to the front of Lower North. We're obviously not going to be going there now, but we'll keep a mental note of that and see when we're going to be returning here.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes Lower Norfolk kind of hides in the shadows on these area randos, so knowing where that location is right away is definitely it's going to be a good one. And as I was talking about resources and being starved, it looks like the seed is not going to be doing that for us because we have at least 1 pack of each, and so our runners should have access to all rooms that they get into contact with, as long as they have enough of each ammo, of course. Yeah, making our way up climb and really just waiting to see what our other criteria portals have in store for our runners, and if we see some immediate route divergence or if it's just going to be a kind of a movement game for the first couple of transitions.
Yeah, so far the story of this race has been Kipp deciding to full clear wrecked ship in Game 1, being rewarded with ice, and that sort of caused a real feed-forward reaction where the seed continued to reward him for that. Zeb played very well, but it just wasn't enough. And in Seed 2, Kipp went on a slight route divergence, got Varia early, but it denied him power bombs. That actually came back to bite him a little bit. The seed rewarded Zeb for that decision. And so we find ourselves here knotted up 1-1. Our runners both now picking up Wave at BT. And let's see some portal checks. Figure out what this map randomization has in store for us. So far, we haven't been starved for our minor items. And in the first 2 games, maybe we were, but we were getting absolute jet seeds with huge major items early. We'll see if we actually get early major items again, or if this seed is going to focus more on those minors to begin, and we're going to have a little bit more of a struggle to actually get those majors.
Yeah. It's all going to unfold here in a couple of minutes. We're going to see what unravels from our runners picking up. It looks like we're going to just take a little save. We've decided to head west. We're going to go check these 2 portals down by what would normally be our G4 and entrance to Green Grid Star. So we're going to get 2 early checks, or 2 checks very soon. Ooh, okay. There is
Well,
a telling.
The trend continues. We don't know yet exactly if this will hold up, but another very powerful item very early for these runners.
Yeah, potentially telling of the seed. Maybe it's dressed up with a nice little speed booster bow to be look like a jet seed, but I'm not selling anything short at this point. We're going to see how everything goes. Wave beam picking up doesn't really give us a whole lot of direction on you know what progress. It's obviously not gating anything in our seed here. Okay, so we have Zeb going straight down into the red Brinstar tube.
Yeah, so G4 was Eastern Meridia at the Aqueduct location. Ooh, some unfriendly locations early. We saw both the front and back side of Lower Norfair already.
Yep. And Kipp following suit on the same path that Zeb just did is going to have to double back and say, oops, no thank you.
We'll get the above Kraid location here. Holy smokes. We are seeing very, very interesting development of this map early. We already have the front and back of Lower Norfair. We've got the single chamber area of Upper Norfair.
The seed really wants our runners to go to Norfair, which, you know, I'm thinking means that Varia is going to show up sometime soon, but it's not guaranteed at all. I'm going to go check the Spazer location because that is a major item location with this major minor split.
And Kipp going back up to Criteria here. So we have a divergence immediately. Zeb finding X-Ray at Spazer, and Kipp deciding to go. Oh,
Maybe
was that a little hiccup from Kipp there?
It might have just been because
he had just come from Criteria. I thought maybe he was going to go back and try the crab and moat checks.
Yeah, it could have just been a little brain hiccup there. It's a little bit different. I always look at that tube like, oh, I need to break this tube and I need to go up and check this portal. Coming down from that way is a little bit different. You don't have the water physics because you haven't broken the tube yet, and so maybe it was just a little bit of a brain hiccup there. I was interested though. I was wanting to see. Ooh, we have an early ice check
huge
coming
play
from
potentially
Zeb.
here from Zeb. Misses the deboost, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of a backup there is for that. Might have to reset the room.
Yeah, and we'll see. Is this a reset or does he bail? Worried about spending too much time here? Nope, going again.
Okay, let's see if Kipp decides to.
I don't know. There's 3 portals at the top here. I think Kipp is checking portals. So we're gonna see if this pays off. It could be it's a big play for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely if it pays off. Oh, the very last deboost. Oh, this does not look good for Zeb. Is gonna have to take a death.
No.
And I don't know if there's been any saves since the ship.
So I had my eyes firmly affixed on the left side of the screen. I did miss where the red tower portal went to.
Zeb did save, so it's not a complete reset. This was right before discovering the 2 portals. I was wondering if Zeb maybe wanted to hook a right and go to the portals on the right side of Criteria. what did we pick up? We did pick up speed, so Zeb definitely probably wants to go snag that and then decide if he wants to try all that over again, maybe try the X-ray again. I don't know. That's got to shake that off.
Yeah, Zeb was right there on that final deboost, and unfortunately, without bombs, there's really no backup there. Without bombs or high jump. So we small, just a minor error on Kipp's end in routing, but immediately a big gamble that did not pay off for Zeb. In the meantime, Kipp continuing to gain information here.
Yep. Taking a save. Is probably going to use this for potential save scumming after checking other portals up here at the top of Red Brimstone. Kipp finds yet again more Norfair. We got Norfair on sale today, 2 for 1, or I guess 4 for 1 at this point.
4 for 1, that's right. Single chamber, lava dive, front and back side of lower Norfair. Zeb is committed to this play.
And I'm not angry at this. If this pays off, I mean, it's going to be killer. I don't know at what point Kipp would end up coming back here, but if this is Gravity or Varia, maybe the seed intends for you to go get an item and then bring it all the way back here.
Okay, gets it cleanly this time. Nicely done from Zeb.
Very well done. That is not.
All right,
not
this
easy.
is a big moment of truth here in this race.
Okay.
And it's space jump, an interesting reaction from Zeb watching him live here.
Yeah, that's kind of like you were hoping for a cake, but you got kind of a slice of pie, and it's still pretty good, but it wasn't what you wanted.
I mean, it's obviously an excellent movement item.
Yep.
If Kipp never gets here, there's a lot of places, especially if he finds Screw, where this could save him tons of time. But, you know, it wasn't, you know, let's say a big suit or something that could have been potentially really, really game-changing.
Yeah.
Especially considering the death and the amount of time, maybe a couple of minutes lost there.
Yeah, these runners are very adept to getting around with very minimal items. So space jump is going to make things faster and easier, but it doesn't necessarily block anything for Kipp by not having it.
Really, that death is the first major mistake that we've had from either one of these runners throughout the entire 3-game set so far. It's been really, really crisp gameplay, you know, as evidenced by the 51-52s that we've seen. Both runners running sub-hour in each case.
Yeah, and while unfortunate, I don't think it's as much of, you know, an exhausting thing or an issue for Zeb. Wasn't super far behind, was able to get back over to there fairly quickly. Pack of missiles behind Alpha power bombs. There's not a guarantee for our runners are going to find charge. So there is that, do I go for ammo or do I go hope for charge? Which one do I commit to? We're still looking for ice as far as Zeb skip goes. If we can't find that, then we need ammo for Zebs.
All right, so essentially what's going to happen here is Zeb's going to check these two, going to bail from this lava dive. He's going to go up Red Elevator and be in Green Hills, just sort of on Kipp's heels with the advantage of having Space Jump. It would have been really interesting if he hadn't taken that death, because I think the movement alone of Space Jump may have actually caught him up to Kipp at this point. Just an extra minute or two that he's going to have to find a way to make up.
Yeah. I think it's going to depend on this route divergence. Again, boss ran.
Yeah, we haven't seen a single one yet, so that could
can turn tides.
Absolutely.
I am nowhere near as good as Kipp or Zeb or even Professor School here, but I try to stock up on ammo in just in case scenarios for boss shuffle, so that if I do end up running into Dragon and Ridley, I can at least have a potential attempt to take them out right there instead of having to come back. We have found Torian.
Now, I think this is all sort of in that window of us being fixed on Zeb. I actually didn't see if Kipp had gone down to New Bridge to find Turian or not. It's a very useful piece of information.
Yes, it is, because if it comes down like last race, Zeb did not know where Torian was, and Kipp did. We weren't sure if that was going to have an effect on the outcome. It's a bit of just a search mission at the moment for both of our runners. So I'm going to check wave gate. I think this was an E-tank. And Kipp going to get our our early supers.
Let's see what these major item locations hold. Another E-tank. Interesting.
Well, I'm throwing heated rooms in our face the entire time. It's about time it gives us a little bit of energy.
Yeah, and tons of miners. Tons of E-tanks here. That's, I think, our 5th one, including the reserve. So a lot early. We did not see that in the last seed.
I like this though. I like that the seed is not necessarily trying to dictate a whole lot here. It's giving a little bit of everything and allowing the runners to do what they will with it.
Yeah, we got that big speed item first, and of course the huge movement item also with space jump buried away at X-ray. But other than that, we haven't seen anything to indicate that this is going to be anywhere near as fast as the first 2 seeds, and of course that doesn't account for the boss shuffle. Little hiccup there for Zeb, not a big one, just has to reset here. We've seen a couple funny things in this tournament with this waterway spark. Glove yesterday going all the way across the room by accident. Always funny when those things happen. Little button slip here, all of a sudden you're shooting into the top corner of the room when you didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Never a huge time loss, just feels a little bit silly.
All right, this is a portal we haven't seen yet. Is that correct? Top of Green Brinstar?
That's correct.
All right. I don't think we have any other. Do we have more Lower North here? All right, we finally got a Meridia. Main Street.
Yeah, and Kipp gonna wrap around here to the map station and check the other portal location in Western Meridia.
Now this is an interesting one here, because if for some reason this portal ends up being something that Kipp has to turn around from, I don't think Kipp can, with the current loadout, get back up. I don't know if there was a save prior to this. Okay. It doesn't matter anyway, because we ended up in criteria, so there's no issue or no fear of any soft locks happening. Kipp says, wait a minute, I need some power bombs, please, before I check this portal.
Yeah, and our helpful folks in Tracker helping us out, letting us know that reminding Kipp did actually save before that. So
very good. Yeah, I figure that's probably the case. Decisions like that are not ones that these top runners make very often.
All right, so we're right back into the other side of Upper Norfair now, but no heated rooms this time. And we've got Vanilla Kraid's mouth into Kraid's lair. But do we have Vanilla Kraid?
That is a great question, and I imagine that because of that question, you'll see Kipp take this item here, and then instead of heading back left, we'll probably head right to the save station. Not a save station we see very often in Super Metroid Speed.
Yeah, pretty much only in map completion and casual playthroughs.
Yeah.
Surely we don't want to get locked in there with this loadout with, let's say, a Dragon or a Ridley.
Yep. Definitely don't want to see those.
If it's a Kraid or a Phantoon, we expect to see Kipp handle this fight without a problem.
Yeah, I mean, Kipp does have 30 supers, but 4 tanks and a reserve is not not very comfortable.
Yeah, I think I've seen Aussie pull off some unbelievable stuff before with this, but in a situation like this, it's a huge play, but I don't know.
Oh, all right.
Look, Vanilla Kraid's mouth into Vanilla Kraid's lair into Vanilla Kraid. So we're going all vanilla here.
Not even French vanilla. So that will mean that one other boss will be vanilla, at least. If all of these bosses end up being vanilla, I'm not quite sure.
Just
what
a
to think
reserve.
about
Look
that.
at another tank. We're up to, I think, 6 now. I think it's 4 plus 2.
Yeah.
So the seed has slowed down considerably and is just really given us a lot of these other items. Zeb not going to be checking through, it looks like. Immediately retreats. So will not find Kraid.
It's going to head back to one of the Green Brimstar portals. One of them led to...
One was Turian, so it's got to be back to
Yep.
Red Tower now. I don't know. I'm not the most experienced rando runner. This is an interesting play to not save and see this through. There's not a whole lot of locations left. I mean, you can go back through to try to find other checks in Criteria, or to try to find your way with the extra health that you have back into, let's say, the backside of Upper Norfair through Single Chamber and try to do some hell runs into Bubble Mountain.
That may be what Zeb is thinking, that the seed has been trying to push us into...
Oh, no, hold on. I think that's Zeb now going back up Green Hills elevator.
Okay.
So seeing that was Western Meridia, went and grabbed a save, and now is going to do the same thing. Should find Kraid. Okay, yeah, this makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. And Kipp finally deciding, okay, Norfair, I'll play. I've got more tanks. Let's see what you have. Are we going to see Varia? Are we going to see Gravity? Are we going to see both?
Another
We're
E
just
tank.
going to see energy.
It's
That's all
very
we're gonna see
interesting.
here.
No Vari and all this energy.
The seed is just hiding
At
all the
least
cards
some
behind
upper
this back.
Norfair hell runs seems to be where the seed is pointing, and we'll see if these runners are how much they're gonna be checking these items in Upper Norfair now. They avoided it early, but I think this is gonna be the play now, is to clear Upper Norfair.
Absolutely. Did Kipp get the non-ice
Yep.
speedball?
Set it up in
Very,
round 2,
very.
almost got it, and there you go.
That's very, very nice. That's a tight trick, because you have to have the full length of the platform, plus wait for the enemy to be touching the platform at the exact time that you're running, so you get the little extra run speed.
Yeah, without it pulling you back in the other direction.
Yeah, that's tough.
All right, here's another check for Kipp. What's at high jump? Wow.
There we are.
Well, yeah, that's really interesting to get all those E tanks, and then you've just got your heat protection right off the bat.
Yeah, so Seed kind of opening its pages to us so far. It's been pushing us towards Lower Norfair. Said, I know you can't get there yet. Let me get you some energy. And now here's Varia, and we're going to see where else it takes us. We've got 1, 2, 3 more major locations in Upper Norfair.
So this is really interesting. Sorry, on the left-hand side of our screen, Zeb refilling supers. I wonder if Zeb is thinking, if this is Ridley, I'm actually going to go all in. Refilling health and refilling supers. Unfortunately for Zeb, that's just an extra time loss. Committing to this potentially being Ridley would have been a huge play, obviously, if we saw that, but unfortunately it's just going to be Vanilla Kraid.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting to see. I don't know if Kipp necessarily went in with as much preparation like we just saw Zeb do. And
Yeah.
If there had been a Ridley fight and a Ridley bail, that would have been a really interesting divergence. Now, if we see some really major movement items here in Upper Norfair, we still have 3 left to check. It's really going to be a race at that point to Gravity. I don't know how stacked Upper North Air is going to be. If it's super stacked, then Kipp's definitely going to have an advantage at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Kipp has really maintained that lead from the few minutes that Zeb lost to that death on that early X-ray check, and has not really made up that time yet. I think the worst case scenario here for Zeb is that this remains a jet seed. Kipp gets everything he needs and stays in goad mode with this several minute advantage. If we have an added complexity here, now we've seen the seed provide this excitement for us so far in the first 2 games, but added complexity is really going to benefit Kipp's decision, or excuse me, Zeb's decision here.
Yeah, Zeb picking up that reserve is speculating that the seed may be throwing some more things that they would require more energy for, but is soon going to find out that Varia is right here at high jump boots and is no longer going to need to kind of prep energy and resources in that regard. The seed, unfortunately or unfortunately, has been pretty straightforward, and our runners have kind of just been following the same path. We haven't seen a whole lot of divergence.
Loading us up with the E-tanks. Very interesting. There wasn't really a reasonable way when single chamber was first discovered on the backside of Upper North Air to do those hell runs. So now just getting loaded up after getting Varia is a very interesting seed here.
Yeah. So we've still got Upper North Air Reserve and Wave to check as far as our major locations for Upper North Air.
Nice D-boost across Bubble Mountain there for Kipp.
Yeah, that one
Gonna
is
check
not
these items back here. Still no charge beam, so we're gonna really load up on ammo here.
Yeah, 55-35 at this point. We're 26 minutes in. You could start contemplating the thought of committing to ammo.
And well, you know what? It's unbelievable the number of times that's happened in the booth so far in this 3-game set. Glove was doing it a ton in game 1 and 2, and we were just talking about all these extra tanks. Well, maybe we're probably not going to see Varia. We found Varia. Well, here's all this extra ammo. Well, who knows? We're not going to see charge. It's been 26 minutes, and there's charge. Every time we think we have the seed figured out, it just completely turns us on its head.
Yeah, maybe we should just stop commenting on the seed. It has ears, apparently. So, okay, seed. Don't diverge at all. Maybe reverse seedcology there. And our last major item in Upper North Air, Kipp will reveal momentarily. Holy smokes.
Oh boy.
And a half. So Lower North Air was indeed stacked. It had charge, it had Varia, it had gravity. What more could you ask for at this point? Maybe Ice Beam, but the runners have access to everything at this point. Bot wound access is, we don't need ice for that. Ice is just a nice to have at this point. We do want it for Zeb skip, preferably, but we don't need it with the amount of ammo that we already have.
Yeah, and they've got speed, right? So.
Yeah, they could do Z. Both these runners are capable.
All right, so let's keep going back down to the crate location here, crate entry. It looks like.
Or.
It's interesting. I just think with the if Zeb hadn't taken that death, I would say I got a huge advantage here and may have even overtaken Kipp either soon or coming up, especially with all the utility that Space Jump has. I just don't know with this fast of a seed again if this is going to be enough for Zeb.
Absolutely. The lead didn't seem, after Zeb went through X-ray the second time, I was kind of following in Kipp's footsteps. The difference didn't seem super huge. It does at the moment because Kipp has all of these things that Zeb is about to pick up. But I do kind of want to see, once we're done with all of this Upper North Air jazz and we start entering into different areas, how much difference we're actually going to see.
All right, there's Dragon. at Fantoon. I just don't see a whole lot of places left for divergence. There's a couple portals we have not seen yet. It's possible that some funny stuff can happen with the area randomization, but we'll see. I think Zeb needs one more wrinkle to close the gap that that he suffered from that early death at X-Ray.
Yeah, it looks like what this seed is intending to test at this point is not necessarily decision-making skills, but just movement abilities.
Yeah, God, lightning quick Dragon there. Going for the spike suit to exit is Kipp. No dice, no big deal. Another E-Tank. Really, really interesting seed.
Yeah, Kipp probably looking for maybe a nice little high jump or a nice beam at this point. Wouldn't kick space jump or screw attack or you know, out of the room.
All right, well here is maybe the hope that Zeb needs. Kipp at this point, you know, on the left side of your screen, you've seen Zeb more or less do everything that Kipp has done just a few minutes behind after that X-ray check. Kipp decided to go back down to Croc to go to wrecked shit, having checked it before. Zeb skipped that check, does not know that the Croc entry is wrecked ship, and as a result has come back here through single chamber.
Yeah,
But what's fascinating about this, let's see, where is he come through? Into lower Norfair now.
Yeah, which at this point is going to be Ridley or Fantoon at the Ridley gate. More E-tanks. Get your E-tanks here. It would be more of a question mark as far as is there going to be some sort of a drastic change in current pace for our runners if they get to a boss and it's one that they don't think they could handle. But with the loadout, there really isn't that question anymore. Yeah. Both of our runners can handle all 4 bosses, and that isn't on the table.
Yeah, I thought that E-Tank at Firefleas, it would have been nice if it was another movement item for Zeb, maybe high jump or something to try to add to that advantage now, to have those movement items for longer to try to catch up to Kipp. But just another E-Tank, so we'll see what's at Ridley here.
Yeah, if this is Fantoon, unfortunately Zeb is not going to get the luxury of the major item location, because Fantoon's major item location is right side supers, so you have to kill Fantoon in order to get that. And then go all the way back to wreck ship, rather.
Well, but that is interesting, and it is one of the wrinkles that could potentially work in Zeb's favor, because Zeb has not gone into wrecked ship. If this is Fantoon, and he kills Fantoon, when he returns to wrecked ship, he might actually be able to unlock an item that Kipp is probably not otherwise going to see. But instead, here's our vanilla Ridley, so that's not going to be the case. We will see the item behind Ridley, though.
Yes. And I think in hopes for Zeb, it would be better for him to have, if it is high jump or maybe screw attack, something that can help further the ease of movement around the planet. Better for Zeb to have it now than later, maybe.
Nicely executed, no hiccups there. Beautiful fight for Zeb.
Very nice, clean Ridley fight.
I mean, Zeb is doing everything right. The question is, can he do enough between his execution and decision making, and is the seed going to be friendly enough to help him make up? Another E-Tank. Yeah. It feels like it's back to game 1, you know, one mistake in one runner's favor, and the seed just not being particularly forgiving.
Yeah, and it really speaks, you know, in situations like this, Kipp has to maintain this pace. Because if anything, if he lets up at all, makes any sort of, you know, minor, medium mistake, Zeb's going to be right there at the back door waiting. So.
But look at this routing. I mean, Kipp is just blazing through already onto Fantoon here, which was the last remaining boss. Is the only one left that we knew would be randomized here, shuffled into Meridia.
Yeah, this will be 3 bosses for Kipp.
Not quite getting the 2 round, but should be able to clean it up here. Doesn't get the fast, so it'll cost him a little bit of extra time. Every little bit helps right now for Zeb. Every little bit's going to help. Oh, getting flame lane there. That slow left pattern is one of the most annoying patterns in this game. Fantoon drops a ton of flames, it eats all your missiles, and then you get the fast eye close, and now essentially the effect of another slow. Well, there may have been a mid pattern off screen for Fantoon after the disappear, but still effectively a 4-round Fantoon for Kipp. It's not the time loss makeup that Zeb needs, but it helps a little bit. Assuming Zeb can come through and clean up a much faster Fantoon.
Yeah, Zeb having, you know, both of our runners are being subject to the woes of Speed Booster without high jump right now. So a lot of the muscle memory that, you know, might be there for things such as, you know, exiting Dragon or exiting Ridley with this modified jump height is just really difficult to manage. Even when you are aware of it, it's still something that can mess up your ledge grabs and mess up your down grabs and such.
All right, so we'll see. Zeb probably going to G4 here, and then that'll take him to Aqueduct to go to Dragon, or to go to Meridia, excuse me, and then fight Fantoon.
Yes. Here's what is happening before us.
Now there's Spring Ball at bot to an E-Tank.
Thanks for the Spring Ball.
Just got a chance to take a look at it. Obviously, not really going to make much of a difference here.
Yeah, just kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah, Kipp's just moving on at this point. Needs to find Ridley and get to G4. Yeah, and Kipp going left. We got a little area randomization high 5 there. Zeb entering and going towards Dragon as Kipp comes out. Kipp going back towards finding Ridley.
Yeah, and we've, you know, the seed gave us the location of Lower Norfair as our first.
Yeah, pretty much our first check,
portal.
right?
Yeah. So it's not like our runners don't know where that is, and they've both seen Torian. I'm fairly certain. So Kipp should have the path for the rest of the seed here at least mapped out in some way, shape,
and
or
it's
form.
really forgiving because once you escape back out, you're going to be able to very quickly make it to Green Bryn and get to Turian. Now this is one of these rooms where Space Jump is actually going to save a ton of time, especially coming back. Kipp did not get the spike suit.
Yeah, absolutely. That and
Or excuse me, sorry. This was Fantoon. I forgot that this wasn't Vanilla Dragon, so there wouldn't have been a spike suit.
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was Vanilla, Ridley, and Kraid, and then Dragon and Fantoon were swapped. Another lightning fast seed, though. My goodness.
Yeah. Where were all these seeds for the rest of the tournament?
They were saving them up for the finals.
I mean, granted, we've got two of the best Metroid Rando runners on screen right now, so that makes everything just a little bit faster.
All right, let's see if Zeb can close out this 3-round. It shouldn't be that difficult. Hopefully getting a mid here. We'll save a little bit of time on this Fantoon fight. The RNG obliges, and this should be an easy 3-round. Oh no!
Unfortunately, only connects with one missile on that Doppler.
Fantoon did give that fast though, so hardly loses any time at all.
Kipp with plenty of supers to feed Ridley. It's not going to be much of an issue here.
No, but the big problem here is that, as far as I remember, Zeb did not make that check at Croc entry, has not yet identified where wrecked ship is. And I think it might just be a little bit too far behind at this point to make up the difference.
Kipp not even checking the major item behind Ridley. Says, nope.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
very
good.
clear path back to the beginning of Criteria, and then a hop, skip, and a jump over to Turian.
Yeah. Knows that Zeb is perfectly capable of pulling out a win here and wants to make sure that he saves every moment, every room transition, every item check that he can. Getting a little sandpit action. Probably hoping for something. Is that a high jump? What was that?
It is high jump. I mean, it does put baby skip in play,
Yeah.
and it's another good movement item, but it's costing quite a bit of time also here to come and get this item.
Yeah, I mean, this does warp around. Is this a toilet bowl or? Okay.
Yeah, this is a plasma check, it looks like.
Looking for. At this point, it's got to be ice that Zeb is potentially looking for if they're doing a plasma check. Nope, just going back door.
Yep.
Okay.
And Highway does lead direct ship here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, you know, looking at the tracker here, Zeb's got the superior loadout for sure. Unfortunately, some of it came at the cost of some time loss, and some of it just came a little late in the run. Still, both of our runners just putting on their best here.
Yeah, you know, it's possible that if maybe one of those E-tanks, let's say Fireflies or something that Kipp didn't check was ice, you know, that would have sped up the Metroid rooms substantially over the power bombs that Kipp is going to have to do, but Kipp is going to beeline and is going to get to Turian way, way, way before Zeb. Still needs to go through Wreck Chip here, beat Dragon, route back through Upper Norfair to Criteria, to Green Brinstar, and then to Turian. It's kind of unforgiving, unfortunately. That's true. Tracker pointing out that we got our 51 and 52 minute seed, and we were asking if we get our 50-minute seed. It's going to be dang close to that. This is it's unbelievable to get 3 of these back to back to back. And look at this. 43 minutes entering Turian. Unbelievable.
Yeah, considering the settings and considering all the seeds we've seen in this tournament here at SpeedGaming Live 2022, it is very surprising to see 3 of these back to back.
Yeah, I mean, Zeb could check right side supers after this and get ice. Again, if that death hadn't happened at that early X-ray check, Zeb would have had all these movement advantages in the way that he routed this. You know, he could potentially have picked up additional things that would have put him in a position of advantage. But Kipp never had to make that check in the first place. didn't go into X-ray, and obviously, you know, didn't lose the 2 minutes or so. You know, I keep repeating myself, but that's really just been the story of this race. It's the big difference.
I really would have liked to see where the race would be having that death not happen.
Yeah.
I still don't. I don't disagree with Zeb doing that check.
It very well may have paid off if he hadn't died.
Yeah, it could have been something. It's not a super long check. He's obviously capable of doing it. It's just an unfortunate event.
Yeah, I mean, in a very fast Dragon, but it just might be too little too late here for Zeb.
You can tell the urgency. Zeb knows how fast this seed has been. Knows that Kipp is somewhere close. Trying to figure out how close. Just says, I need to go. I'm not checking any items behind Dragon. I just need to go.
Yeah, the only thing I could have seen there was potentially a right side supers check for one more major. But Zeb just getting out of dodge and moving on.
Baby skip coming up, Anna's.
Yeah, I mean, look how much faster this movement is for Zeb. Yeah, so no baby skip for Kipp, but it won't matter.
No Kipp skip. If you have not been privy to any of the other matches that we're able to get a restream and probably have a VOD out there somewhere for this tournament, definitely check it out. There have been some very exciting races. We're getting a speed Zeb skip attempt from Kipp. And first try, very
excellently
well done. That short charge is not necessarily super short, but that door transition makes it very awkward. It feels almost like it takes longer for Samus to start moving for that particular door transition for some reason. It's just finicky.
That's interesting. Main Street was Green Bryn, which would have taken Zeb. It would have taken Zeb straight into Green Bryn. Oh, geez, I don't think Zeb actually ever found Turian. Yeah, he's trying to figure it out right now. He's looking up at the ceiling trying to figure it out. He's going to go check pre-aqueduct. And this is the other thing that we hadn't talked about before, but Zeb actually didn't, I don't believe he went down to the bottom of Nuke Bridge at the end of Green Bryn to find Turian. Kipp definitely did.
Yeah.
And if he had known that, he would have gone through Main Street. It would have taken him to Green Bryn. He would have been in Green Bryn and could just beeline for Turian. This would have added a really interesting wrinkle if there wasn't that death. This would have been an unfortunate bit of routing here.
Got to duck under that catch-up. And it looks like Kipp is through the Mother Brain 2 stage. Didn't damage down. Just gonna... Oh, it's going for a stand-up. Kipp deciding I'm gonna save every second I can.
No, I mean, it's the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, this is the final game. Go big or go home. He's got charge, spazer, wave. So we'll be able to do some amount of damage to Mother Brain 3 before the Mother Brain 3 phase actually starts. How much it'll save, I don't know, but it will save something.
Yeah, and haven't gotten to the top of Red Tower. This is going to drop Zeb into Green Hills, and he just needs to go around the corner here and will find Turian, but it will be too little, too late. Kipp just needs to execute a couple last things here on this stand-up.
Yep, he's probably going to play it pretty safe. Yep, walks all the way back.
Yeah,
just
put
to
that
make
baby
sure.
in position, absolutely. Really getting that last bit of soft lock out of the way. So we won't get the sub 50, but we're going to get another low 50 here, Seed. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And really just one mistake in over 3 big games from these two incredible gamers. It's just that death, and that was really all the difference that we had here.
It's really amazing. 3 hours of
Yeah.
3 different rando settings. The runners have to make sure they got all that squared away in their head. What settings am I running? Chozo really throws a wrench into your brain if you're not ready for it. With the full split and the major minor split and the Chozo split, being able to handle all that, being able to track all the area transitions, and then also play Super Metroid at the same time and make it look nice. It's just amazing. Both of these runners have just put on an awesome show throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It would be interesting, as you said, try not to harp too much on this in the interviews afterwards, on exactly what that time loss was. I didn't time it out myself. We could go back and take a look and just see how close these runners would be. I don't know that it really may have been enough. It's possible that X-ray check just wasn't rewarding enough with the item that it was provided. If it was a suit, it could have been a completely different story.
You have to factor in, you have to add on baby skip as well if it would have gotten baby skip. Because Kipp didn't go for that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Well, we'll see if Zeb continues on and gets baby skip or not. But yeah.
Yeah, so we're just moments away here from crowning our 2022 Super Metroid Randomizer Tournament SpeedGaming Live champion. It's going to be Kipp, and it's going to be after an incredible, almost 3-hour performance. We're about to see him put his hand up and celebrate this huge tournament victory. There it is. GG's, Kipp. Another tournament championship, another incredible performance.
Absolutely. Zeb shaking his head up and down, kind of knows that the death probably did not help. But both of these runners should be super duper proud. We're going to get them in the booth here for interviews very, very soon. They're talking with each other. They're kind of shaking heads, smiling, discussing the seed on the other end of this table here. And it's really, really awesome to be able to kind of look your runner in the face after an awesome match. It's been a great event, and that was a great display. All right, I'm gonna scooch down because these courts don't stretch super far.
Well, a huge GG to both of our runners, Kipp and Zeb, joining us now on commentary.
Yes, please.
Getting set
We're
up.
gonna do an award presentation here. We got our trophies. Please go ahead, take it away.
Hello, I am Clifford. I'm not on the camera. I'll get on the camera.
Come on in the frame.
There we go. All right. Make this work. Hi, I'm Clifford with SpeedGaming. I'm here to present the trophies for the Super Metroid Randomizer tournament. First, it is my great pleasure to present second place here to Zeb316. There you go.
GG's, Zeb.
Congratulations, Zeb.
GG's, excellent work, excellent tournament.
Which means that the winner and champion for SpeedGaming Live 2022 Super Metroid Randomizer is Kipp. Congratulations, Kipp.
Thank you very much.
GG, Kipp. Nice
GG's
win.
to both of you.
Well done.
And take it away.
Thank you so much. Well, y'all just put on an incredible show. The 3 fastest seeds I think that we may have seen in the entirety of this tournament. I didn't follow the qualifiers as closely, but I can't imagine getting 3 low 50s in a row, back to back to back. The execution was superb all the way through. I think there was just one I would call major error in the entirety of 3 races. It was a big play from Zeb. You went early to X-ray. It didn't work out in your favor, sort of in 2 ways. You took the death, which cost you a bunch of minutes, and the item that was there potentially had the possibility to sort of overcome Kipp with the movement advantage that it provided, but it just wasn't enough. What was the idea with that play and sticking with it?
Well, I think that if you make the play once, I think that kind of like you're saying it's worth it regardless, kind of, even if you take the death, kind of like. So doing it again just kind of made sense to me. Like, and the second time I had no issues, you saw. So, I don't know. I think that early X-ray is a really powerful play, really good play. A lot of times you'll even just like get an E-tank. Like if you get an E-tank, that's totally fine. Gets you enough energy to get back easily. I ended up getting space jump there, so I was able to get back easily too. And if you find a suit there, you normally just win if your opponent doesn't do it. So that's kind of that process. It's like maybe a minute-long check that can kind of like make a huge impact in the race. So.
Yeah, and we were thinking maybe with space jump there, if you had found a number of other movement items that Kipp wasn't able to get, you'd be able to sort of add to that potential advantage. But then the seed just jetted again, right? It gave both suits right away, and I think that really played into your favor, Kipp, because then you were able to just jet through everything and not have to go around with more divergence. I think the more divergence, the better in that situation for you to try to make up from that death. And unfortunately, the seed just it gave to Kipp and it took away from you after that. So
yeah, I actually didn't feel too bad after the death because it was like a 2-minute death. Like all the time that I had spent between the ship and there was like checking portals and stuff. So that's information I still had. So I could just like kind of go straight there. I even skipped Spazer, which was X-ray, because didn't really need it. Like so I think it was like 2 minutes or something, maybe even less than 2 minutes that I lost to that death. So, and a lot of times these races don't come down to like being within 2 minutes. So.
Yeah, although all three of these were incredibly close races, within 3 minutes, I think each and every one of them, I think you were actually level on time between the first two races cumulatively, so it was really impressive. I want to come to you, Kipp, in a minute, but one last thing that we were talking about before is up until this point, Kipp had been undefeated against you in competition, and you actually took that race in Chozo to force this decisive Game 3, putting yourself in an excellent position, really just executing as well as you could have to force that Game 3. So first of all, GG, because that's a huge win. Taking one off Kipp is always a big deal, right? And you put yourself in a position to actually win the championship. Unfortunately, it didn't go in your favor, but that's got to feel good getting that win. I think maybe it's a small consolation, but I think it's a huge accomplishment. And you know, you're an incredibly accomplished Super Metroid Randomizer runner, and you really showed it here. You took a game off the champ, so big GGs to you on an excellent performance all the way through.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I felt pretty good about my play overall today. Like, I felt like my gameplay was really solid, other than like the one mistake with the X-ray deboost. Like, everything else felt pretty good for me, which the gameplay part is normally the part I struggle with more. Today I actually struggled a little bit more mentally. It's kind of a lot to keep track of. I multiple times like forgot I had an item, kind of a thing, like that I would just turn it off or something and then like forget I had it. So it was a bit of a mental struggle for me today, but felt like I played really well. So
yeah, a couple late routing issues as well. It seemed like you were trying to figure out where the portals were. In the end, that's not what cost you, but excellently played throughout all three games. Which brings us to Kipp. Holy smokes, an incredible performance. 3 jet seeds. You handled each of them incredibly well. The second one wasn't particularly forgiving for the decision you made. You got Varia early. It looked like that was going to be a big 2-0 win for you, but then it denied you power bombs, and that was really the difference maker for the sort of split that we saw. But here you are, 2022 champion. First of all, huge congratulations. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the tournament as a whole, and specifically with regards to what happened between Game 2 and 3 there.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say GG to Zeb. Going into this tournament, you know, first of all, I just enjoy racing. That's actually my favorite thing to do in Super Metroid. It's fun to go for PBs, you know, it's fun to do events, but I think the one-on-one racing is kind of like the most fun thing for me. It's really exhilarating. So to do it live in person with people that you know from online, get to hang out and do all that is great. But I think both of us, we kind of talked about it last night. Going into this, we were really hoping that we would meet in the finals because
I think we all were, right?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a storied history, and we've actually met in the finals before in a previous tournament on some teams, and we played against each other, I think, in the semis last year at the SGLIVE tournament, but it was online. So anyway, really look forward to that. He did a great job, and I think you and I were kind of talking a little bit beforehand when I was warming up about how every single opponent in Super Metroid Randomizer presents like unique challenges. And so, I had to think really hard last night when I, knew that I was making the finals about how I kind of wanted to approach these games versus Zeb. And, really honestly, one thing here or there could have gone either way, and he could be the champion. Sometimes you get into these complex situations and you got to go with what you feel is the best decision. But, luckily for me, that third seed, it played into how I play, like my style of play. It really helped because
Once I saw gravity,
yeah. And even not getting ice or not getting like plasma, having sort of a weaker beam, but having all that ammo, and I had 15 power bombs, so I didn't need the ice beam. Basically, it just really kind of worked in my favor. So feel great about how I played. Micro-wise, I think early in this game 3, I was a little shaky, but I think I kind of found my rhythm sort of in the middle and back half of the run. But really happy being the champion. It was a lot of fun. I feel like we, are going to ask more questions, but before I even forget, I did this last night too, but I got to make a point since this is our, big grand finals. But super great to meet everybody. Our tournament was great. Everybody stayed on schedule. We got it done, right on time. It was awesome. The SG Live staff here has been phenomenal. Very accommodating.
Absolutely.
Rick is over here. You can't see him in the frame, but he's the one who he'll put his hand here. He's the one who's been scheduling our matches, and he's been very, very kind to us and accommodated some of our requests. So
Thank you,
Rick, we really appreciate
Thank
you a lot. Feasel, I have to mention him. I don't know if he's here right now, but Feasel is sort of the person over all this, and we spent a little more time with him in 2019 because we were up late doing the Super Metroid stuff. Haven't got to hang out with him as much this time, but he's working super hard, super gracious guy, awesome. Got to thank Jestro and Mass in particular because those are the guys that have helped me the most in terms of all my tech stuff. So I guess in closing, I'll just say super fun time, really happy to be the champion, but at the same time, I think more than being the champion, I just enjoyed the races. Just getting to play against somebody is the most fun.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and I'll feed off that too. Jestro also doing tracking for us. We can't do anything without our trackers. We're very grateful to that. Hugely grateful to Glove, who was here
Absolutely.
on game 1 and 2. She's an excellent Super Metroid randomizer player, was here in the semifinals, an excellent commentator, helping carry me through as I provide a little bit of color and an analysis. Happy for Papa Schmo to jump in on this final race with us. So a lot of people making this happen.
Absolutely.
We're so happy to be here in person. It's been an excellent time. Maybe I could get one final set of thoughts from you about just the race as a whole. Right, we've talked about this a little bit between the races, so I don't want to deprive the people at home who are listening about it from some of the stuff that we've been chatting about. It felt like it was a lot of give and take from the seeds. In game 1, you were greatly rewarded for clearing wrecked ship and getting ice, and it just sort of snowballed forward in your favor after that. The seed it had opportunities to give an advantage to Zeb, it never happened. In game 2, you got Varia early, looked like it was going to be really good,
right?
But then you were denied power bombs, right?
Right. And then I got in that weird spot with the areas, like you go one way and you can get back to finding it, you go another way and you actually get locked out of that location.
That's right.
So that was technically a mistake on my part. Like Zeb and I were laughing before game 3 talking about sometimes when we're racing these things, we realize, oh, you know what? I probably should have done this other thing, but then it's too late.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what happened there.
Yeah, and so that sort of snowballed. Now in Zeb's favor in game 2, we had this exciting race. Both of you come in within a few minutes of each other. We force a game 3, and then, the death or not, Zeb makes this huge play. If it had been a suit, it would have been a completely different story, even with the death, right? And unfortunately, not only was it not a suit, but then everything was front-loaded, as you pointed out, sort of to play into your advantage. So I'd be really interested to hear, just on a whole, how those 3 big swings of momentum seemed the seed sort of drove things in one way or another.
Yeah, so, I'm going to attempt to try to condense this down because we could literally sit here and talk for like 30 minutes about how to approach it. In fact, my favorite interview, before I answer your question, of this whole event was last night when Zeb won. He was giving his interview and talking about the second seed, and he talked about it. He basically played the seed like 3 different ways in the way that he explained
Incredible.
it. Because he could imagine exactly what the
just
different
a
layouts would
testament
mean.
to the incredible intuition and knowledge that Zeb has about this game.
But no, for me, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, every single individual has a play style relative to certain things they're comfortable with in Super Metroid. One of my favorite things about Super Metroid Randomizer is, it's very flexible. You can finish the game in a variety of ways, and there's only kind of a few items that are kind of critical in certain situations. But what I try to do, personally, what I'm most comfortable with and what I think kind of plays out best for me and my skill set is I try to spend a lot of time early investing in being prepared for a variety of in-game possibilities. So I'm collecting every E-Tank, I'm collecting every minor item I can get, and it's not just in case I don't find charge. In this mode, it's way more likely that you could end up with a potential hell run in Lower Norfair if you're equipped for it without Varia.
So that went into the decision to full clear wreck ship in game 1.
And also why I kept grabbing all those reserve tanks, because basically I just wanted everything I could get so that when I finally got to the mid-game, I could make decisions from there based on every item. And luckily for me, the mid-game was, okay, here's Varia. Okay, here's charge.
Yeah. Okay,
here's gravity. And then one other thing, I got a little fortunate. I don't really like saying lucky because I think every randomizer player, there's swings one way or the other in almost every race. Like, you make a decision, you might get a little fortunate. Later on, another decision,
it's
maybe
in the
not.
seed's hand, not in yours.
But I did get a little fortunate in when I decided to check the back of wreck ship, not knowing what the portal was going to be. Because I could have left and gone the long way.
We thought that you were going to do that.
I knew where those portals were, but I was like, there's a chance that this feeds directly into East Meridia.
Wow.
And if it doesn't, there's a pretty good chance that it leads into this other portal that I can then get to.
Yep.
Luckily for me, it went straight there, and then from there, it kind of played
itself.
itself.
So maybe if I could step in then and ask, so Zeb, you decided not to full clear wrecked ship, and that's where we had our big divergence at that point, right?
You're talking about game 1?
In game 1, because you never got ice. So I'd just be curious, in that perspective, what's your calculus saying, I'm not going to prepare for that situation, I'm going to not full clear wrecked ship? Now, obviously, it costs you because of ice, but you can't predict that. So how does that go forward for the rest of game 1 in terms of your approach?
So with what Kipp was saying, I feel similarly. I play similarly in major minor area boss rando. I think that mode specifically really rewards you for being prepared. However, in countdown and in Chozo, I feel like it's a little bit less like that. It's like you kind of just have to go fast because those seeds, like, you're gonna find your stuff, so you don't need to worry about ammo quite as much. It's also not boss rando, so it's harder to do with Lower Norfair. So what I was thinking is when I didn't clear wreck ship, it was because I had found Green Brinstar and I saw there were 3 items there, and I didn't want to spend like a bunch of time clearing wreck ship, and maybe it's even like at wreck ship reserve or something, and I can't even get it.
Yeah.
And then end up like finding, even if I find something like maybe something not super useful, and just like, and also like, actually one of the things that I like to do also is actually, so I'm kind of contradicting myself by saying like I do like to be really prepared in these. So I like to try to be prepared to skip any one item. So there was one item left in wreck ship. I felt like I can skip any one item. Like if I think I had gravity at the time, and if it were Varia, I would be like, well, I can find a way to like finish the seed if it's Varia there. I can find a way if it's like whatever it is. I can figure out a way to finish the seed. So that's kind of what I was thinking, and I just didn't want to like wreck ship checks at the top are slow. We did have space jump, so it was not like terrible. Like if you don't have space jump too, then I think that those checks are just absolutely horrible, really slow. We did have space jump, so they weren't as bad, but I just felt like they were a little bit too slow. I needed to not basically do a time sink like that in order to beat someone like Kipp. So
yeah, and it's funny he's mentioning that. It's like it's the game within the game, right? Every single person has a certain style, and then you try to game plan around that. But I will let you guys close it out. But before you do, I got to do our quick promo. I sound like a broken record at the end of every tournament, but I have to say this. The Super Metroid community is a fantastic community. We have a really special group of people. Everybody's super helpful, very cool. We've had a great time hanging out. Just about everybody in this room has helped me in some capacity, either here or in the past online. So I really want to encourage anybody who's watching who's interested in Super Metroid. Please come join our Discord. You can speedrun, get into the randomizer scene. It might sound at first like a little intimidating because it sounds like there's a lot to learn, but you'll actually be surprised at how quickly you can kind of get used to it. It's actually not that hard of a game to get into, and you can go at your own pace, and plus there's plenty of people to support you. So we're always looking for new people, always looking for new competitors. It could be you sitting here next year at SGLIVE. So everybody's welcome. We would love to have more people come check out our scene.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kipp. Yeah, so in the end, y'all had to make these decisions. It worked out in one way. I mean, Zeb, you even said you'd find a way to finish the seed. You did. Not only did you finish it in 53, 54 minutes. It's just that, I mean, you'd do that at home and feel really good about that time, right? But Kipp finished it in 51 minutes. I mean, that's just the way that the chips fell today. It worked in your advantage, and you excellently executed. You played very well.
Thank you.
You're our 2022 champion, so congratulations to you, Kipp, to both of you. It's been an excellent tournament. So I think we just got to close it out on that note.
Close us out.
Papa Schmo, thank you so much for being in the booth with me.
Professor School, glad to be here. Absolutely honored to be in everyone's presence here, to be able to sit here, do comms, share experiences, play Super Metroid. I mean, what else do you want, man? You
What
know?
better way to spend a couple days?
Absolutely.
Big shout-outs to both Zeb and Papa Schmo. I'm a vanilla runner. I actually just picked up Rando specifically to participate in the Constellation Bracket. Both of these guys on my left and my right actually sat down with me and ran seeds, watched me run seeds. So to Kipp's point, there's people in this community who will sit down with you at a console and walk you through seeds and walk you through this. Kipp's helped me a lot with a lot of different things. Excellent community. Come out and join us. So with that, we say thank you everybody else, again to everybody else here at SG Live. It's been an absolutely excellent tournament. Go and check out some of the other action that's still ongoing. Go ahead and follow Zeb. Go ahead and follow Kipp. If you want to, you can come and follow the commentary crew. I'm Professor School. This is Papa Schmo. We got Glove, who was joining us before. We are
bronze match tonight potentially between Glove and
I was
Solsky.
just going to say,
I'm not sure what the schedule is, but we'll
and we
figure
got
it
our
out.
bronze match between Glove and Solsky. So just an absolutely excellent time here. Things have been wonderful in this tournament. A little bit of action from SpeedGaming Live still coming at you, so stay tuned. We're very grateful for your attention, and we will see you next mission.